Becker, make a Shopify store. Becker, make a Shopify store. Hey, Becker, make a goddamn Shopify store. Fuck it, we'll make a Shopify store. So I bet you can guess what today's video is about. Shopify stores. Yeah, we're going to do that. Is my mic on right? Okay, cool. So you guys have been asking for the longest time, Alex, show us starting a Shopify store from scratch and making money. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you a brand new Shopify store from scratch, getting to $50 a day in like 3 days time, and exactly how you can do it too. Before we get into this though, if you like videos like this, be sure to go below and subscribe and hit the notification button because I'm extremely lonely and we need more subscribers. We just do, okay? It's needed, and I founded a few multi-million-dollar tech companies, so I kind of sort of a little bit know what I'm talking about. Not really. So anyways, we're going to get into this right now. And to preface this, I'm not the one making these Shopify stores because I run software companies. I don't do Shopify stores. However, I took some training that I had made a while back where I basically just got a friend of mine who's really good at Shopify. He starts a store from absolute scratch, gets it to $50 a day, live in front of you, and I'm just taking this training out and giving it to you because you guys have been just pounding on my Instagram looking for this shit. So let's just get into it. Be sure to subscribe.
Hey everybody, Justin Senior here. Super excited to show you this walkthrough. I'm going to show you just how easy it is to go from basically starting from scratch to having your own e-commerce store and making your first sales. So we're right here on the Shopify homepage, and we are going to just get started, jump right into it, and actually get started and build our store. So a little bit before we start building the store, obviously we're going to talk about and think about some niche research. You know, we want to pick what niche we're going to run, and I recommend kind of starting with a niche store rather than something general, so you could really kind of hone your focus on one thing. So what we're going to do, we're going to build a golf store. So we're going to be targeting people who like golfing. You know, they like watching golf, they like playing golf. You know, they eat, sleep, live golf. That's our target customer. And I'm going to show you a little bit later, you know, how we can prove that, you know, that's a good niche to enter. But, you know, big niches like golf, you know, that's pretty obvious, right? You know, you see big golf stores. Of course, you know people that are super passionate about golf. That's always something to think about. You know, how passionate is someone about a certain niche? The more passionate, the better. But we know that golf is a good, you know, a good niche to try. But again, a little bit later, I'll show you how we can prove that out inside of Facebook ads, even before we spend $1, just to prove that there is a, you know, a big enough targetable audience. But anyway, we're going to start off with golf. So like I said, we're on the Shopify homepage. I'm going to show you just how easy in a matter of minutes we'll have our store up and running and ready to go, you know, accept credit cards, accept PayPal, etc., etc. So let's get started. All you need to do on the Shopify homepage is just press start your free trial. And we're going to run through and just start up our own store. So I'm just entering in some info here. And I'm going to call this store Golf is Life. Or someone already has it. How about Golf Fanatics? And, you know, we could change this name later. This is just basically going to be the URL to the back end of our store. So I'm just going to call it Golf Fanatics Store. No big deal. You know, we could change it later if we want. We're going to hook a custom domain up to it, of course. So we want to, you know, we don't want to worry too much about this name. So we're going to keep running through. And just quickly put in all the info here. Okay. Okay, running through. You know, we're just filling in the information. This is just basically building our first store. You could pretty much put anything in here. It's you know, really not a big deal. And once you press enter my store, Shopify is going to build it. So, you know, just fill out the form as you see it. And now we're at our Shopify homepage. So this is going to be your dashboard. This is kind of going to be mission control for you. This is where you're going to see, obviously, once you know, once we get started, once you start having traffic, it's going to show you right on here how many people have visited your site, how much revenue you have for the day, and a lot of other great information. So take a look at the URL. Here's your admin side of things. You know, this is your big admin panel. I'm going to run through most of the important things here in a minute. Here on the homepage, the first thing that we need to do is answer this question: where would we like to start selling? And of course, we want to have an online store. So this is a new thing with Shopify. If you've done Shopify before, you probably didn't have to create an online store. It just came with it. But now all we have to do is simply press Add Online Store. It's going to install the store in the back end, and now we are going to start out and pick a theme. So launch your online store, select a free theme. Now here is the Shopify theme library. There's also paid themes available from Shopify. There's also paid themes available from third-party developers. I recommend, especially when you're getting started, just pick a theme here. I'm going to tell you that I like Brooklyn the best. We'll install that in a second. But reason being is that they actually have some real great chat support. So you see down here, you can click in and actually go to Shopify Live Chat, and it's 9:35 Pacific time right now, and they're still working. So they have some really great chat support, and if you pick one of these official free themes, most chat support agents can actually help you even in as far as going into the code and helping you kind of figure out if you do need to make some changes to the code for some reason. They can help you out, and tell you how to do that. So I definitely recommend just going simple, sticking with a free theme. I have stores, 6-7-figure stores that are using free themes. So don't at all think that you need to spend thousands of dollars on development. These are some really good options. Here's Brooklyn. This is my favorite one. A couple other ones. This is a pretty nice one as well. This one's going to be just super easy. The reason I like Brooklyn is it's easy to use, easy to manipulate, but more so, it was designed for mobile first. It looks great on mobile, and if you've done any advertising, specifically on Facebook ads, which we're going to use to drive traffic to our store, you're going to see a huge majority of that traffic being mobile. I'm seeing about 80 to 85% of my traffic being mobile. So here we go. We're going to click on the Brooklyn theme. We can look at a demo real quick. This is what it will look like, just in terms of a fully built out store. So you see it relies on a nice big image, so that's going to be a strong point. Again, on mobile, it looks really nice. So just scrolling through, it looks like we can do some featured collections and some maybe a tagline or something like that. These are all going to be editable without even needing to touch the code. So it's great. You're going to have tons of different options. All we need to do is just drop in a big image. We could use a text logo, or we can get a logo designed, set up the navigation. Great. It's going to have everything that we need. So let's publish this theme. And just in a few clicks, it's going to install it, and just in a few seconds, we'll actually have a live site. So now we're taking a look at our site here, Golf Fanatics Store. I'm just going to close this little admin bar. And here you go. Here's an actual store. So, just like, 5 minutes in, we already have a store live. So, forget about thinking about learning to code and building your own site and all that kind of stuff. Don't worry about it. If it takes 5 minutes and you have a fully functional store, we have a shopping cart already. We have full e-commerce functionality, so we're ready to go. Now we just want to customize the look and feel of our site. So again, you don't need to be a designer to do this. You don't need code. It's super easy on Shopify. We're just here in our backend again, and we're under the online store section, and we're going to go into themes. So we just installed the Brooklyn theme, as you saw. So now we're going to go over here and click Customize Theme. And this is going to bring us into our theme panel. So you see over here, there's all these different options, and they control different parts of the theme. And remember that you shouldn't really need to do any type of code work to get your website up and running. Apart from some small things like Facebook pixels, for the most part, you're just going to be dealing in terms of customization, just dealing with this type of stuff. So let's run through all these and just kind of get started. So here is a section for us to create a color scheme for our site. And again, we're talking about a golf store. So, kind of colors that would come to mind obviously would be greens, right? We want to have like you always associate that nice green color with golf. So I'm thinking that we might want to do something there. But before we kind of do that, let's go and add a logo. So we have the opportunity to either add a text logo here or an actual custom logo. And we definitely want to build a custom logo. That's super important. So we could actually do that just by going to Google. And what I like to do is go to a site called freepik.com, and that's going to give you some templates, specifically some logo templates that you can use. So we could actually even probably go further than that. Just go right into golf logo and see if there's anything that comes up. So we want to find a logo for our store, and here's some kind of some examples, and maybe something jumps out to you. I think that it's most of the time a good idea to kind of get a professional to create your logo. But just for the sake of example, I'm going to use something like this, just because we're making an example site here. And I'm just going to download this vector, and yeah, I'm going to pretty much open this up inside of Photoshop and just make a very simple logo. So I'm just unzipping the file real quick, and I'm going to open up Photoshop. And I'm just going to bring over these files. So again, if you're not a Photoshop expert, if you're not comfortable working inside of Photoshop, or you don't want to spend time in here, by all means, go and get a designer to go and create your logo. Definitely do not go to Fiverr though, right? You're not going to spend $5 on a logo. You need to have a really solid first impression. So, with that being said, just really go for it all. Go get a nice logo. It's not going to cost you thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars even. It should cost you maybe between $50 and $150 to get a nice logo. And remember, that's going to be really all about the first impression of your site. So, just for example's sake, we're going to use, let's use this logo. I think this is a nice one. It looks professional enough. And maybe we'll even call our site Golf King just to make things easy for us. But again, you're probably going to want to go out and get a logo designed. I have a little bit of experience in Photoshop, so I'm just going to do it myself right now. Great. So we got a nice little transparent logo. I'm going to do a little bit of resizing just to make it a little bit more of a manageable file. Great. We got our logo, and now I'm saving it. I'm saving it into a folder real quick, so just bear with me. So we're going to take our logo, and we're going to use this to basically be the basis of our design. So I'm going to come back in here, and I'm actually going to look at the colors in this logo because I want my site to match the colors. So we have a dark green, we have a light green, black, white. So cool, good enough. We have a pretty good color scheme. I'll come back to this in a second. But again, just to make things very straightforward, we want our site to have a consistent logo and a consistent color scheme. So we're going to start by, of course, uploading our logo. So I'm just uploading that file that I created real quick inside of Photoshop, and here you go. So now we have Golf King, a logo on the site, and we're already starting to look like we have a little bit more of a professional site already. So there you go. We have our logo. Looks like we could save here, and that's pretty much all you need to worry about in terms of the header so far. So now let's go back to the colors, and let's set up some colors of all the things here. So you see we have text in terms of black, and the cool thing here is you could actually edit this live, and so you see it actually changing, changing color. So we're just gonna stick with black there. Basically, I want to look at any other accent colors, this gold is unnecessary, and I think this would be a good place where we can pull in that green from our logo. So here's the link color. I'm going to take this, copy this is what's called a hex code. It's just a color code, and I'm going to replace it here. Do the same thing for this gold. We don't want this gold in here anymore. I want to replace it with green. So you see the links in here. So I'm going to save it. I'm not exactly sure what the sale tag is right now. We're not seeing it here, so we could kind of just ignore it. Maybe we want to change the buttons background to also be that same green. Let's just do that for now. So, already see, so we're 10 minutes in, 12 minutes in, we have a nice logo, we have a matching color scheme. So here we go, we got our green, we got our similar greens going here. So all of a sudden, 10 minutes of a little bit of work, and we have a pretty professional site already. We didn't have to do anything in terms of code. So Shopify, you're seeing the power right now. We're already creating a site that, in my opinion, as a buyer, I would feel comfortable buying from this site. So let's look at typography. You see here that they're using serif fonts, otherwise, basically known as not round fonts. They have these little hard edges. I'm going to change, and again, you could kind of see this live. I'm going to change my fonts to something which is a sans serif, basically just round. And you should see some of these. Here you go. So now it's round. I'm going to change these basically all of the fonts so they're consistent. And I think, this is just an idea about branding. Maybe you want to have those serif fonts. To me, the serif fonts, they don't really kind of go with what I think to be, golfing or sport. I like to see these kind of rounded fonts. And again, I'm no designer, but, I'm just kind of going by what I see on the internet. I want to create a site where people are going to feel comfortable putting their credit card in. So I think so far we're on the right track. So we're going to run through, let's see what other options here. So we have the home page, and I certainly do recommend the Brooklyn theme. So what you're seeing here, you could easily be turning into your site. So here are the different sections here, and you can see them right here live. Here's our hero slideshow, or a big banner. We're going to add a big image there. we have our little featured content section, we have our featured collection section, and we have our featured products. Now maybe you just want to have featured products on the site. So all you need to do is basically just turn these off, save it. You're going to see the page reload, and all you're going to have is your big hero banner on top and your featured products on the bottom. So that's great. I don't think we need to overcomplicate things. We just want to show some product on the homepage and a nice banner, so we're already on our way there. So here are the specific section options, and here is the hero slideshow. Let's go into that. This is where, it's talking about if we had multiple images here, so here's slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, etc., they would automatically rotate every 7 seconds. Now, I'm just going to go, for example's sake, I'm just going to pull a big golf image that I had found, and I'm just going to create one slide. I'm not going to go crazy right now just for the sake of time. Maybe you're going to want to spend a lot more time and actually, build a really cool slideshow at the beginning. That's great. You definitely could do that. Just for the benefit of time here, I'm going to kind of use this this big kind of grassy golf image that I found, and I'm going to add that here. So all you need to do is just come here and click replace and grab this big image that you had previously found. You want to find something that says it needs to be at least 1200 pixels in width. Obviously you want it to be big enough so it fills this big canvas that you have. Also, the bigger the image, the nicer it's going to look on mobile. So it's uploading here. I'll give it another second. Actually, if you see down here, you could actually click and see how it's going to look on different platforms, right? On tablet, it's going to look like that. On mobile, let's see, where's the image? On mobile, it's going to look like this. So really, really nice. It looks really nice already. Looking good. Here's where we have the opportunity to change some text. So I'm just going to put here Golf King. Okay. Save now. Change this to light because of our image. So perfect. Golf King. This is how our site looks on mobile. You see our little mobile menu, which is cool. And our persistent cart, our logo looks great. Again, here's how it looks on desktop. Really nice HD image. It's going to look really strong, and logo looks nice. Pops. It's cool that we actually have the kind of the ball here and the ball here, looking good. So we have a nice homepage. That's the homepage hero slideshow. Remember, we turned these off, these other sections inside here. So we have we could have turned on featured products, featured collections. We just decided to keep it off. So we do need to edit the featured content section here. Oh, I'm sorry, the featured product section here. And this is based on the collections, So collections are basically just categories inside of Shopify. So this would be where you would be able to actually select what product category will get shown in this section. Obviously, we haven't added any product yet. Okay, now we're going to go into some product page options. There's only one, and that's, enable image zoom or not. I typically turn this off because on some browsers and on some platforms, it just kind of doesn't work consistently. So I turn it off. Collection page. This is a page, basically your category page. So if you have a category like t-shirts or a category like equipment, in this example, I could see us having, both golf t-shirts and golf equipment. We might have categories for each one. On the page, we could select either a collage or a grid view. I'm going to go grid. I'm going to turn off these other checkboxes. These will basically just show tags for the product, and those are often used to organize your product. So you don't necessarily need to show them there. So I'll show you what this page looks like after we build the product. Obviously, right now there's no product, so we're not going to see what the collection page looks like. Then you have cart page. You just have some options here in terms of how will your cart be shown. So you might have noticed the cart slides out here. That's called a drawer cart. It's pretty cool, but the issue is, on some devices it may not work perfectly. I like to always go into the page. Page basically means the shopping cart is going to be its own page. So when you click on the cart, instead of sliding out, it's just going to go into your to a page. This is this is the preferred way to do it to make sure that it works on every single platform. So over here you have a newsletter form, and all you need to do is create a MailChimp account. MailChimp is great because it's free for the first 2,000 emails, so you can easily get started on MailChimp. And if you just click this link, it's going to tell you exactly what you need to do in terms of how to, it shows you the requirements. Of course, you need to have a MailChimp account. And you need to create a MailChimp list. Those are just basically, that happens no matter what when you create a MailChip account. Remember, it's free. And then it will show you how to get the actual URL that you need. You see it right here. The URL that you need to paste into this section. And what that's going to do is it's going to hook your MailChimp list up with this sign-up box. So again, you don't need to know any coding. Now you have a really cool sign-up box on your website. It's going to automatically send those email addresses into your mailing list. And it's definitely worth being said. Your mailing list is a huge asset, right? You're going to have tons and tons of revenue opportunities by mailing your list. So you're making it easy for them, and you're making it easy for you to capture those people by hooking your MailChimp list with this automatic little mailing list widget here on the bottom portion of your website. So another reason why the Brooklyn theme is so great. Yeah, it's free, but who cares? It's got all this great functionality that any e-commerce store needs. So we're not going to go through the time to open up the MailChimp account, but it's pretty easy, pretty quick, and you're just going to get that form action URL and paste it right in here. So we're almost done with this section here. With editing the look and feel. We're going to go over, the last thing is social media accounts. So obviously we can put in our Facebook page and any of the social channels that you are going to be using. Obviously you need a Facebook page because you're going to be advertising on Facebook. So I'll just pretend that this facebook.com/Shopify is my page, and it's looking pretty good. Here's our Facebook link now. So this kind of automatically gets built. If we were to include our Twitter link and saved it, the Twitter link would show up here as well. There you go. So okay, we're moving forward. I think we're at the last section here, and this is just the checkout page. You can select a logo if you want. Basically, you could use your storefront logo, this original logo that we added. This can also go on our checkout page. So we'll definitely walk through a checkout after we add some product and hook in our payment processors and do all that. But this was about 20 minutes, and we now have a pretty nice site, in my opinion. I'm going to reload our site here. Remember, this is what we started with, and this is where we're landing. Really nice site, no code required. Nice logo. I mean, pretty trustworthy. For a site that we took 20 minutes to create, I don't think we did a bad job in terms of making the customer feel pretty comfortable. We have our nice trust badges here for the credit cards and stuff like that. We have our email address, our email list hooked in with MailChimp. So that's all you need to know for customization. Very straightforward. So again, if you want to go and change some colors, maybe you don't like this green, you want to go darker, all you have to do is go back into the customize theme section. So great, that is kind of half the battle for getting set up. So now I'm going to talk about settings. So we're in the settings section, and basically there's all these different sections. I'm going to run through them pretty quickly. For the most part, all you're doing is filling in information. So here, you're going to be entering your information, all of your legal business name, if this was my actual business name, my address, my business address, my email, all this stuff. So I'm just going to save on the general side. Then you're going to move over to payments. So payments, the two important ones are Shopify payments up here and PayPal. So the cool thing right out of the box is you have PayPal automatically enabled. So your store accepts PayPal payments with PayPal Express checkout. You might be thinking, well, I didn't even create a PayPal account. Well, that's okay. Whatever email address you use to register the store, it's going to accept payments, and as soon as you get your first PayPal payment, it's going to send you an email with saying how to set up your account. So maybe you already have an email or a PayPal account attached to this email, then you're just good to go. So the next thing you need to do is configure Shopify payments, and let me say that they don't make this very easy if you're outside of the United States or Canada. So if you are, you're probably going to rely on another, an alternative payment method. But if you are in the States or in Canada, you could easily do Shopify payments. All you got to do is just set up your Shopify payments here. I'm not going to do it here because it requires some specific information like social security number and employer identification number, which is basically your business's social security number. But all you need to do is fill out this form and put in your banking information so you can get paid. They're going to give you direct deposit. You could even be so specific and show what gets put on the customer billing statement. So this is where you set all information again. I'm not going to do it right now because I have to put in my real stuff. But this is all you need to actually kind of go and have Shopify payments created. So with Shopify payments, you're going to be able to accept credit cards. Just a direct. Basically they'll just enter their credit card information. Right? You don't need to do anything anything crazy because the cart is already set up and everything's set up. All we're doing is just enabling them to pay by credit card. So once you enable that, you're good to go on the payment side of things. You're going to have Shopify payments and you're going to have PayPal set up. So, pretty much every single type of payment, credit card, is going to be accepted with these two payment processors set up. And you could also do Amazon payments. You could also do, Apple Pay. But I found that these two are the important ones that you want to focus on. So moving forward into the checkout box, we have some options here about customer accounts, and I like to make them optional. Because I know some people like to, I like to check out as guest a lot. It's just quicker. But we definitely want to give them an option if they want to create an account with us. Kind of up here, I leave this as is. And then over here is something that you're going to want to take a look at. And this is about basically pre-opting in people. And this is all about having the checkbox checked or not on the checkout screen when they say, I agree to opt into, this store's marketing promotions. Basically, are you going to have the box pre-checked or not? So you can make that decision and save it in here. And this is a place that we're going to come back to, additional contents and scripts. This is where we're going to place conversion pixel code. So maybe it's going to be our Facebook pixel, or maybe you're using some other type of ad network where they have conversion pixels. You're going to place them here. And if you don't know what a conversion pixel is, it's basically a little piece of code that talks to your ad network or your tracking setup like Google Analytics or whatever it is. And it kind of just talks back and forth, gives information. It's called conversion tracking for a reason. It basically tracks the data surrounding a conversion. And the Facebook pixel is one of the most robust tracking pixels out there. So we're definitely going to want to install that. So just scrolling down the page, this is a real cool section. First of all, a caveat here, don't even think about doing paid advertising without having these pages on your site. They're pretty much prerequisites for kind of signing up or doing any advertising. Facebook, you definitely need to have these pages. So the cool part about Shopify is in just 3 clicks, they're going to generate templates for you, and they're going to put in your information like your address and stuff like that. Now you're going to want to definitely go through these, and maybe you're going to make some changes to make sure that they make sense for you. Maybe your policy isn't 30 days, maybe it's 60 days. So you're just going to just change your stuff, but this is a great template to start with. So just going to save it, and that's all you need to worry about in terms of checkout. Now we're going to move over to shipping, and shipping is one that kind of gets tricky for some people. Basically, and you see here, there's different weights. So what Shopify does is use a weight-based shipping setup. So depending on the amount of total weight in the cart, so not just per product, but in terms of the total order, it's going to simply calculate the total weight of all the products in the cart, and then it's going to check up this, these shipping rates or these shipping rules, and it's going to find the rate. So right now, anything between 0 and 5 pounds is going to be charged $8. Anything between 5 and 20 pounds is going to be charged $18. So let's think about the types of items we might be selling. Right, we might be selling drop shipped items where we wouldn't really have to worry about weight much because they're drop shipping them. Right, we might be selling products out of house that we're shipping ourselves. Then we're going to consider weights. But I actually want you to think about the weights here differently than actually the actual product weight. I want you to think of the weights as simply as a tool to allow you to build very, very, very specific shipping rules. So I'll give you an example. Let's say we're going to sell some pieces of jewelry. Some golf related pieces of jewelry, or maybe we're going to sell some small little item, right? Or maybe even more specifically, we're going to do a free plus shipping item. So we're going to charge $0 for the item, and I think we probably will do this in this case. Charge $0 for an item, but charge $9.99 for shipping. So obviously we need to have our shipping rates fully set up to ensure that we're going to be collecting the correct amount, especially if we're doing free plus shipping. If we don't do the shipping correct and we're not charging anything for the product, then we're never going to make any money. So these are kind of rules that can be adapted to how you want to do it. But here's how I like to do it. I just like to use even numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to set up. I'm going to basically set my rules to assume that every product is 1 pound. And I'm going to set these rules up for free plus shipping. So again, if you don't know what free plus shipping is, it's basically when you sell a product for free and simply collect shipping to kind of offset your cost. The idea there is it's a great way. First of all, you can make some money on it, but it's a great way to kind of get data into your store, start getting customers, start building that brand, and not to mention kind of boost your own motivation to see that you actually got sales. So I'm going to set up shipping rates that way. So remember that these, setting up shipping rates is only half the battle for the shipping stuff. You also need to set your product weights. And again, I like to do everything in terms of an easy number. So I'm going to set up a free plus shipping rate here, and I'll just do a couple of examples, and then I think you'll probably get it at that point. So anything between 1 pound and 1 pound, so anything that weighs 1 pound is going to be charged $9.95 for shipping. Okay. Now we need to say, okay, so what if, let's say you have a piece of jewelry that you say weighs 1 pound, and what happens if they add 2 to the cart? Well, then you'll have a 2 pound order weight, and we don't have a 2 pound rule, so we need to add a shipping rate. And again, remember, it's add a shipping rate based on order weight, and you can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it standard shipping because that's what they say. And now we need to make that rule for 2. So maybe if they buy 2, it's going to be $18.95 shipping. Okay, and then what happens if they were to buy 3? Well, there's no rule for 3, so let's just make this rule. I'm just editing this existing one. And 3.0 to 3.0, and that's going to be $27.95. Now, yes, these shipping prices are large numbers. Remember, these are free plus shipping items. I'm pretty sure that that's what we're going to load into our store, at least for the most part. So there you go. We're going to want to create more rules for the sake of time here. I'm not going to show you, building rules for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pounds, etc. I'll often build, maybe 20 rules. Then you also want to have a catch-all rule, which basically, let's say someone were to create, let's say we ended with this and someone added 4 pounds worth of product to their store. They would actually get charged $0 shipping because there's no rule. So we do need a rule that's kind of like a catch-all, and that would look kind of something like this. Let's say we stop at 3 pounds. Then we're going to want to have a rule that basically goes from 3.01 all the way up to 9,000 pounds. Obviously, no one's going to buy something 9,000 pounds. But this is just kind of a catch-all to say, if someone does have a really big order, then they're going to pay, $50 shipping or whatever. I'm just making up a number here. But you see that you need to have every combination set up. So we have 1 as the minimum and 9,999 as the maximum. You could bet that, there's not going to be any combination that doesn't fall within here, so you're covered. You want to do the same thing for international shipping, obviously base it on the rates that you are able to send internationally. So that's all you really need to do on this page. You want to make sure you set up your shipping rules, and you're going to absolutely want to be going back and forth between your shipping rules and your products to assign a weight that's going to meet these rules. So once we start adding products, I'll come back to this section and show it to you again. So moving forward, we're on to the taxes section, and at least if you're in the United States, they do this they make this super easy for you. So if you register as California, then they're going to be charging tax in California because that's what you're responsible to do. So you don't even need to touch this. If you're in the United States, just leave this. This is good as it is. Notifications, we don't need to change this really, but what we can do is customize the email templates that get sent out. For example, when an order confirmation email goes out, we could change the text in here, and we could put our own language in if we want, or we can put anything. We could actually edit the code if you're comfortable doing that. But this is just simple. If I wanted to say something like, if I just wanted to say thank you so much, I could do that. I could put in whatever text I want. This is what's going to be placed in the order confirmation email that someone receives after they place an order in the store. There's some other templates here too, like shipping confirmation, shipping update, customer account creation, all that other stuff. You could edit the templates in here. You don't even need to touch the code. So that's good. Files, you don't really need to worry about. Account, here's where you're going to pick a plan. And let's talk about the plans real quick. You got a $29 plan and you have a $79 plan. You're going to pick one of those two to start. The main difference is you get a slightly better credit card fee here. So here's 2.6% as opposed to 2.9%. So this one's a little bit better. And then also the big thing is you get reports. So there is a report section here. And it's got a ton of useful stuff here. Just the very least, it shows you gross sales by product. So, how many sales and how much money you made per product. But there's a lot of other great information in here. It's worth the $50 difference in terms of your store plan. So you get a better credit card rate and you get the full reports. Certainly is worth the $79 a month. If you're trying to do this as cheap as possible, the $29 plan will be fine. You're just going to spend more time pulling the data instead of looking at these great reports. So, that's your call. And so back on account, another cool thing here is you could add users. So let's say you want to add your virtual assistant, or you want to add your partner, or you want to add your customer service person, whatever. You could add them. All you need is a name and an email address, and they'll get sent their own, they'll get an invitation to create their own account. So then the last thing here is online store. This is where we're going to put in our SEO related title and meta description. So you're just basically going to put in the store name, and what I like to do is put in the keywords related to my niche. So I'm just trying to get golf shirts and golf equipment. That's what I think I'm going to be selling. So I'm putting that in here, and I'm going to just put in a little short description here. Golf King is the leader in online golf t-shirts and equipment. Okay. I'm going to save this. So Google Analytics. We're going to want to set up Google Analytics, and it's super easy to do that. So all we need to do is go to Google Analytics. I'm going to go there real quick. And if you've never used or heard of Google Analytics, it is the industry leader in terms of website metrics. So stuff like page visits and number of unique users, and how long people have stayed on the site, and what the bounce rate is, and all that other really cool stuff. That is all accessible through Google Analytics. Not to mention, you're going to see how to do it in a second, there is also the ability to add e-commerce analytics, and that is super powerful. That's going to show you total sales. It's going to show you average quantity per sale. It's going to tell you where your sales are coming from in terms of Facebook ads. Which campaign are they coming from? Search? Are they coming from Twitter, etc., etc. Super powerful stuff. So you really want to enable Google Analytics setup. So all we need to do that is just create a free Google Analytics account. If you have any Google account, then you already have the ability to create a Google Analytics account. So I'm just in the other screen right now, just kind of building a new Google Analytics account, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so here is the Google Analytics code, and basically all I did was create my my golf store site inside of here, and as soon as I finished signing up for it, it spits out this this tracking code. So all I need to do is select the entire thing inside here, and just for your own education, this is your Google Analytics ID. So select this whole thing, copy it, and now all you need to do is actually just paste the code right inside here. So I'm just pasting in that code that you just saw, and now I'm saving it, and now it's going to give me some other options. So here you go, use enhanced e-commerce. So we're going to check this, and we're going to save it. So now that we have enhanced e-commerce checked here, we also need to turn it on inside of Google Analytics. And to do that, all you need to do is click Admin, and then e-commerce settings, and you're simply going to turn everything on. Okay, so I just pressed on 3 times, and now I'm saving it, and now I'm done. Google Analytics is now installed. I'm going to be capturing all traffic data, all the important pieces of information that you need to know in terms of driving traffic. That's all going to live inside of Google Analytics. Like I said, it's the consensus industry best tracking setup, and it's completely free. So there's a storefront password. That's because we didn't pick a plan yet. Once we pick a plan, then when you wouldn't have a password on the site. It would just load right into here. So we'll do that a little bit later. So that's it. That's all the options that you need to worry about. Again, we'll come back to checkout. We're going to want to paste some conversion tracking code here, and we're also going to come back to shipping and create more rules if we have to. So with that being said, our site is pretty much good to go. We need to do a couple of more things. We could set up a custom domain, and for the sake of time here, I'm not going to show you exactly how to do that, but all you need to do is just click register a new domain. You could buy a domain, it's $13, and all you need to do is, you know, buy your actual .com domain. And I definitely recommend it being .com rather than any of these other ones. .com is just going to give you, people are going to feel more comfortable, higher trust when you have this .com. So you'll go and buy the domain here, and once you're done, you're going to be able to actually change your store. Instead of just this, let's say you buy golfking.com. Once you set that up, it's just going to be golfking.com, and that would be your site, or golfking.com/admin. You know, whatever your domain is /admin, that's going to bring you to your Shopify dashboard. You know, again, this is your home base. This is where you're going to see all your stats, and this will always be your site as well, the .myshopify.com. But you know, when you get that domain, it's pretty much just you know, a mask or a redirect. So you'll definitely want to set up that domain, and all you got to do is just, again, click buy new domain here. It's only $13 a year, so you know, it's totally a necessity. If I saw a site kind of advertising this way, I might feel a little bit less trustworthy, because I would think, why couldn't they even buy a domain? So you definitely want to have a domain on there. So actually, there's a couple other things that we need to do to customize it, to finish off, and that's obviously build our navigation. So the pages that we have on here, I mean the links that we have up here, you can see they're controlled by the navigation section, and this is in online store and then navigation. So you have two menus here. You have a footer menu and a main menu, and this is dependent on your theme. This theme has two menus. Maybe your theme might only have one, but either way, this is where you would edit your menus. So let's say we want to, let's say we don't want to have blog up here. All we got to do is go to edit menu, and you see blog. We could literally just press the trash and save it. Now when you check our site again, reload it, this blog thing will go away. So you can customize your navigation. Maybe you want to add more pages. Well, let's say you want to add a page that every site needs, and that is a contact form. So you go to pages, and you click add page, and you call it you know, whatever you want, contact us, contact page, whatever. And then any theme that is you know, good is going to have a contact page template. So if you click this template over here, you're going to see page.contact, and all that's going to do is, and you see that we didn't put any content in here. I'll show you what this page is going to look like. So you save it, and we're going to view this page. Because we're using this template, the contact page template, it's going to put in the contact form automatically for us. So super easy. We don't need to do anything. Now we have at the, you know, in the most basic form, here is your customer support, right? It's an email form that's going to go directly to the email that you used when you signed up with Shopify. So great. We'll save that. Now it's great that we have this page, but it's nowhere to be found. So we need to add it to our navigation. So we're going to go here again, edit menu, and now we're going to add a menu item. And we're going to go and look at the different options we have. We could do a web address, like, you know, any URL. But we're going to do a page, and we're going to select the page, obviously contact us, and we're going to just put right up here, contact. And I'll press save, and now we'll come back to our site. We will reload the page, and you'll see the contact link right up here going directly to your contact form. So there you go. Now you have your navigation set up. Your catalog is simply just a list of your products. Obviously, about us page, that kind of gets built automatically. So to edit that, as you might guess, it's in pages, and then about us. And here is where you'll write your story. And we'll reload this page, and here is the text, right? So it's super easy. You know, don't be worried about any of this. It's, you know, very, very straightforward, very easy to kind of figure out. We covered most of what we need to do, obviously outside of product. So the next step after we set up our store, kind of customized our pages, set up our contact, you know, made a nice design, is to, of course, find product. So that's a whole thing in itself. And we'll save that for the next video that will cover, you know, kind of how to do product research, where to look for product, what to look for in a product, and then of course how to add it to your store and how to configure shipping rates for it. So we will be back to do that shortly.